So we will start, and this session will be in English as it was in the schedule. So welcome everyone. Really happy to see all of you here. And today we are going to talk about OpenY distribution, how we are doing scaling and sharing with custom Drupal 8 distribution. So first of all, I have a question. How many of you heard about OpenY? Please raise a hand. All right, yeah, pretty big number of people. That's pretty good. So hello, my name is Schedrov. I'm team lead and architect at FFW. I'm 9 years in web development, and for OpenY, I'm product architect and technology strategist for this distribution. And I'm playing some music and guitar, so one day maybe you will hear my music, so that's a funny fact about me. So let's get to business. Here we today talk about OpenY, about Drupal 8 distribution that we are building. And this is open source platform for YMCAs by YMCAs. This is Drupal 8 distribution that we are working on right now. There is a lot of noise about this distribution on Facebook, so we are doing a lot of sessions. So this is open source product. Oops. So some information about YMCAs. So YMCAs, this is pretty big, even huge organization with more than 800 organizations and associations in the United States, more than 2,000 branches, and even more we have YMCA in Europe, so worldwide, and even we have YMCA in Ukraine, and I hope that one day they will migrate their website to OpenY platform. So you might wonder, what is OpenY? Actually, OpenY consists of three main things. The first thing, that's the philosophy of collaboration and innovation and impact. It means that with this distribution, the YMCA organizations, they are going to share their knowledge through this platform. This is not only source code, it's also setup of rules, internal processes in their organization. Also, this is a community, so there is a pretty long list of YMCAs who are committed to be a part of this community, to commit something to the community, and also a list of digital partners who are working on the OpenY. And the third thing, that actually our Drupal code, our installation profile that we are working on. So that's the third thing. And I would like to pause here and make a statement that we truly believe that OpenY makes the world a better place, and that's not a joke. That's really true, and the reason for that, because working with nonprofit organizations who care about healthy living, about kids, about people with accessibility problems, and eventually working with organizations who care about three main things in our life, about mind, about spirit, and about body. So that's why we believe that we make world a little bit better than it was before. And based on this, you may think, what does this talk about? Maybe like this is somehow related to religious because we are making the world better. But I will go through a few things. So we will start from starting point, how we started building the distribution, and then I will move you through some technical challenges that we've had. So at the very beginning, we've realized that we will have a mission of OpenY. So there are a big list of things that we should keep in mind during development. So first of all, that's providing best customer experience with the distribution. So it means that for content editors, for members, for customers, we should provide really great customer experience. The next thing, that's collaboration platform. So this platform should be a centralized place where they can exchange their features in one specific place. With that, since we will have like community who will contribute something like in Drupal, and place, it will be cost reduction platform over time, because you will get some features for free. So those organizations will get features for free. And also, the pretty cool thing from the technical perspective was the providing scalability and flexibility, because there are different types of the organizations of YMCAs. And the last thing that summarizes everything that I've just outlined, that's kind of speed of innovation. So we should have a really quick way to bring YMCA business to the market, because before they've used really outdated and legacy CMS in order to build their websites. And based on this, we've analyzed all YMCAs that are currently using Drupal 8 and realized that we shouldn't build something from scratch. We have a lot of different organizations who are already on Drupal 8. We should just take from there some features and assemble the OpenY distribution. So that was our strategy in order to make first release of the distribution. Based on this, we've analyzed all features, we've analyzed all pages and things that are available on websites, and came up with the user story. So user story should answer to three main questions: what, who, and why. Based on this, we've created the list of user stories in Google spreadsheet. This is kind of our working document where we have our user stories. And whenever we plan the new release for the distribution, we just analyze this backlog based on three main criteria. The first one, that is demand that will be in the YMCA communities, then impact, and then effort. So based on those three things, we do some calculations, get a score, and based on this score, we include features into the next releases. And I've briefly mentioned that scalability and flexibility and those weird and scary words. And the reason for that, because YMCAs have different organization sizes. First one, that's small YMCA, they might have only one branch, no staff to manage their content, so they are pretty small. Then we have medium YMCA. They might have a few branches, maybe summer camp, maybe some outside pool, but anyway, they are not that big as a large YMCA. Large YMCA may have separate digital team in order to maintain infrastructure, in order to maintain content on the website and working with vendors or technology partners. And frankly speaking, the same we can reflect on budgets that they have. So that's obvious that small YMCA have small budget for the website and large YMCA has large budget for different integrations with third-party services. So with this in mind, we realized that it's pretty important to build really robust architecture of the distribution, because this is something that will be as a foundation for the scalability and flexibility. So this is something not visible at all to the customers, but that's really important from the technical perspective, because if you will not have right architecture, everyone will blame your product that it's crap or something like this. So based on this, we've started working. So this was kind of our understanding how we should move forward. And with that, we've started building the distribution. So first of all, I would like to show you a small video so you will have visual understanding what the OpenY is. So I will walk through some parts where you need this understanding. So we have program structure that is pretty similar for all YMCAs. We have some alerts bar. Then we have content section with some callout or banner, blog post listing, some static content on front page. Then user can navigate to locations page where they can find some specific branches or camps or just off-site locations. Then from this page, as example, user might navigate to branch page itself. So let's say I live near downtown, I can read some blog posts associated with this branch, read working hours, figure out the phone number, and etc. Also, user can navigate to some other landing pages like About, Give, Accelerator, or open blog post listing and read blog posts. So that's the product, fully baked product out of the box. So whenever you install distribution, you will get this setup of pages, and it will have this looking demo content and so on. So that's just, you will understand how pages look like. So we've faced during the development, even on the very beginning of development, we've realized that challenge number one for our team will be how to provide scalability and flexibility. So we've had a series of meetings in order to figure out that, and we've realized that this is the biggest challenge that we will accept. So with that right challenge accepted, we will work on this. We'll provide great scalability and flexibility. And with that, we came up with the component-based architecture, component-based approach. It's pretty similar to the object-oriented programming when you have components. So we decided to use this approach for the distribution. Let's just take a look at the random website from internet. In our case, that's the OpenY website. We have some general elements, like we have footer, we have header, but from the content manager perspective, everything in between those two blocks, it's customizable area. I should be able to do whatever I want in this area. So I have like some global header, global footer, but I would like to build some crazy landing pages with a lot of content there. So with that, we came up, as I mentioned, with component-based architecture, and let's just take a look at the example at the home page that is built as a landing page. So we have component number one, that's banner, cloud section, so you can call it as you wish. Then we have blog posts listing, then we have some static content as well, some static information. But if we take a look from another perspective on these blocks, so first block, that's the static banner. It means that content editor will go to admin interface, specify some text, plot image, and then this block will be rendered in front end. Then we have dynamic block. Whenever you add new blog post, it will appear there. So you should be able to place this block that will be populated dynamically somehow. And then we have two static blocks. And with this approach, with component-based approach, it's really easy to place the dynamic block in between the two static content, in between two static components. So it means that you're going to have banner, then some dynamic section, then some text, again, dynamic section with listings, some booking form, contact form, and this is not hard-coded somewhere in the templates. So you can just drag and drop those blocks in order to reorder page. And for this approach, we are using paragraphs. A lot of people using paragraphs, so we love paragraphs for this approach in case if you still know nothing about this module. So go ahead to Drupal.org and read some information about this module. So this is how the page look like from the content editor perspective. So you have, whenever you create new landing page, you have title, layout, and 3 or 4 empty areas. Header area, content area, and bottom area. And in case if you switch layout, you will have the sidebar. And in those areas, you can put any blocks that you want. So, and with that, we have different OpenY component types. First one, that is static component, as I mentioned, it may have just static list of fields, images, and it's a referent, that's it. The another one is dynamic. And here we always have only one field, almost always have only one field. That's the reference to blog plugin, default Drupal 8 blog plugin. So in this case, we just wrap the blog plugin into paragraph, so it will be available for content editors. So whenever we want to write custom code, we write it in the plugin module and then wrap this into paragraph. So back to our conversation from both about OpenSocial, OpenY, OpenEDU. What is the common problem of all Drupal distributions? In Drupal 7 world, any ideas? What's in Drupal 7, Drupal 8 world? What is the main what is the main problem with all distributions? Too heavy. Yeah, that's hard to support. Good version. Yeah, and yes, upgrade pass, updates, yes. But it's difficult to disable modules. In my experience, whenever I try a new distribution, I install it, it looks awesome, it provides great features, but I want only a small piece of the distribution. I want to use some specific feature like booking or calendar or landing pages. And whenever I try to disable part of distribution, it's like it drives me crazy because I have to go into many places to rewrite code to change something. So, and in this case, we just end up and decide to start website from scratch. So that was the problem in Drupal 7. In Drupal 8, it's not so big as in Drupal 7. However, it's still big, at least in our case with the OpenY. It's like pretty important to have an ability to disable modules. And with that, decoupled word is our favorite word, because whenever we create task for a developer or issue on GitHub, we put the word it should be decoupled. It means that it should be isolated from the whole system, but has some dependencies on something. What up? Yeah, so, all right. With decoupled, we have minimum dependencies on the other system. So while guys are working on the stuff in order to make a recording live after Drupal camp, so we will move on to the next slide. Yeah, that's not the next slide. It was skipped from the original. Here we go. So based on the decoupled and the decoupled approach, we may say that a lot of parts of our distribution, they decoupled, so you may use them on your own project. I have a lot of my pet projects where I'm using media feature from the OpenY, where I'm using landing page wizard from the OpenY, so give it a try. Please give it a try. It's not perfect. You may have some problems, but this will work if you spend a few hours. In case if you add this to already provisioned website, so in this case, maybe there will be some conflicts, but it's decoupled enough. So the system decoupled enough. So challenge number 2, so the previous one was challenge number 1. We've solved this at the beginning of the project. Challenge number 2 was the integration with third-party services, because different YMCAs, they have huge amount of third-party services, CRM systems, and vendors that they should create integration with. And we've created a few simple rules. First one, we ask a question. Is the background job that should do something in the background? If yes, we just create new Drupal 8 service that will do something in the background by running Drush or cron or continuous integration server. In case if it should be displayed on the front end, this is going to be just new component, and eventually content editor will be able to insert it on some specific page. Let's say that we've had block listing on the front page, and then we've decided that we need to have free group exercises on the home page, and its integration with some crazy DuckScore service that provides just API endpoints. So we create block plugin, we wrap it into the paragraph, and then content editor can place it on some specific page. Then we decided instead of this, we want to display a list of products from Personified, that's service as well for the YMCAs. So we just replace some other component on the page. And then we've decided we would like to have this booking form. So we create new component that provides integration with the API, but for content editors, they have the same streamlined content editing experience. So challenge number 3, installation process. So installation process, that's the place where you can lose like 18% of our customers, because in case if you have some fatal errors or some weird things during installation process, they will just give up and go to another distribution or build something by themselves. So from the technical installation, we think that the ideal installation should look like this. You download the distribution, run bash script, then have some cool progress bar, and then your site fully baked. So you open the website, you go through the installation process, you complete it. From the non-technical, so yeah, that's like product of my imagination. That should be ideal installation process. However, we are still working on this. We have bash script, but it looks not so fancy as this one, but we are working on this. So from the non-technical perspective, we are working on some kind of wizard. So this is going to be a place where everyone can like open the form, specify domain or a name for the instance, select the platform that they are going to use, like DigitalOcean, Acquia, Amazon, or a custom server, specify email or something like this. But this is just only prototype. It was just created in some prototyping tool. However, this is something that we will get eventually for the OpenY customers, because they should have an ability to install the distribution in a few clicks. And this is still in progress. So based on those two steps, like technical installation, non-technical installation, anyway you will get to the point where you should complete the default Drupal 8 installation process. So you have to go through the steps in order to complete the installation. So then you will get the website, but we provide some default color schema by default, but in case if you would like to change it, you can go crazy. You can set up the pink header, orange background, red text. So you can do this on this page. You can customize your own instance with the color schema. Then you can launch your website. Of course, you have to change the DNS. You have to go through security checks, go live checklist, but eventually OpenY customers can launch the website. It looks like idea for the SaaS service, but right now we are focusing in order to like delegate the responsibility for the product to customers. And then the most important part of this is that you will get features, magic word for free from the community, and that really drives YMCA's excited about OpenY itself, because there will be a community a little bit smaller than Drupal community, but the strategy and philosophy should be the same. You can contribute, you can exchange knowledges, so it's like Drupal works with contrib modules. So this was challenge 3 that we're working on right now. So the next challenge, it was the upgrade pass. That's the masterpiece of our distribution. So we've introduced upgrade pass on the 0.2 version. So and right now we've had like no big issues with the upgrade pass. So let's take a look at the real world example. Let's say we have in OpenY 1.0, we have blocks listing, we have load more button with text load more. But on some instance of the OpenY, let's say OpenY Chicago, so they've had requirement to change the pager from load more to full pager with just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 next. So that was a specific requirement for this specific YMCA. But in the OpenY 1.1, we've decided to change the label. So that's huge feature. We will present it on the OpenY keynote. So we've decided to change the label from load more to see more. In here we have a conflict because website already changed this configuration manually. So the technical team from the YMCA Chicago, they've changed this. So we have two options: erase their changes and revert this back to see more. Or we have another option, do nothing with that, so they will merge this conflict. And with that, there should be a way how you can notify the dev team that there are conflicts in your source code. So we've developed the upgrade path dashboard where you will see, and customers will see our conflicts between your current version and new version in the OpenY. So there is going to be config name, specific property, in our case this is pager, path to configuration, and also you can delete. It means that you mark this as resolved, or you can take a look at the difference. So there is going to be the separate talk today in conference 2, 3:30 p.m. It's called Don't Fight with Windmills, upgrade pass tool from the OpenY. Now it's completely separate contrib module. So in case if you want something similar or learn more about this, we did this session by Igor, who is here. So it's going to be a pretty interesting session. And the last challenge that the continuous integration. So at DevFW, and especially in our team, we are continuous integration maniacs. We go crazy with continuous integration. We configure everything manually. So with this is me when we started working on distribution, and I realized how many builds and how many jobs we should configure in order to fully test the distribution. So there are so many use cases. Then I wake up in the morning and finally started working on this. So first of all, we should test the vanilla installation of the distribution. It means that we should test the installation process, installation profile. So you should get the build that will say everything is fine with your distribution. You can install it actually. The next thing that's we should have an environment where we can test the installation steps itself. So we should have an environment where we will have available installation wizard. So our QA or developers can go through the installation steps in case if we have some additional steps, and we do. So there is demo content, features, etc. So that's the second environment. Third environment, that's the testing of upgrade paths. So we should take previous version, we should take the snapshot of the development environment and apply all updates that are pending for the next release. So that's the third environment. Also behat tests, code sniffers, and composer build. So on composer build we are working right now. So that's only small piece. Right now we have issue on GitHub, and we are going to discuss this on our code sprint tomorrow, how we can test the decoupling of our system. So we are going to make build and enable only one single module from the distribution and verify that there is no some hidden dependencies or something like this. So we will go through the whole list of modules and enable them separately. So that should be like crazy idea, but it works. So if you take a look at the GitHub, whenever you create new pull request, you will get the 3 links. First link, that's the fresh OpenY installation, where our QE or developers can go and test the fresh installation. Then upgrade path installation. So we should verify that updates are applied, so there is no regressions, everything works fine. Next, that's the environment for QA or developers as well, so they can go through the installation steps. In case if we added some form during installation, so we will have an environment for this. And the report about behat tests as well from our continuous integration server. We have this fancy report. In case if you see something red, you say that's bad pull request. Go and work on it once everything is green here. And based on this, we've finally today, a few days ago, we've released OpenY 1.2, and we can say that we've successfully, at least for today, we've successfully completed and finished and achieved everything that we was going to achieve with all those technical challenges. And the reason for that, because there are live sites that are working on the OpenY. There are some websites that are currently building based on OpenY. There are a lot of OpenY and YMCAs who are committed to start their websites. They are waiting for some specific feature for the integration with third party, but they are going to use the OpenY. And in case if we take a look at the OpenY today, so first of all, there is a sandbox, sandbox.openymca.org. It's available, username, admin, password, open, do whatever you want there, try to ruin website, and then in 1 hour we will rebuild the sandbox, so that's fine. Also, we have the landing page, openymca.org, with list of all technology partners, with list of all YMCAs, also page on Drupal.org, but that's on Drupal.org, that's just a mirror of our GitHub. On GitHub, we have OpenY, that's the installation profile itself. And we have OpenY project. It's a wrapper for a composer and packages in order to like assemble the distribution, put everything into right places. And in case if you would like to install the OpenY or you would like to attend the code sprint tomorrow and give it a try locally, so there is composer command that will install the latest stable version. In case if you would like to get the latest development version, just add the branch name to the composer command. And out of the box, we support a few development environments. So you are able to install Cbox, that's the open source product based on Vagrant. So you can install this or use Doxal, that's container Docker-based open source tool. And for that, you should just remove no def from the composer command itself. And also there are a few materials that will allow you to get more information about distribution. There is DrupalCon talk with data session at Baltimore with Greg Polnock. He's the product owner and like main enthusiast from the OpenY who is working on this distribution. Also Acquia webinar, this is kind of continuation to our DrupalCon talk from Baltimore. Case study on Drupal.org, blog post by Dries Buytaert about YMCA movement. And today, based on this, I would like to make two important announcements. First of all, that now every YMCA can install website in less than 15 minutes, and that's going to be secure and powerful website in comparison to their old websites, because their legacy, they are bad. They are so bad because I know that in some cases there were even no way to upload content on the website. So it's like you have to create text file, upload it to FTP, and then it will be available on the website. That's not going to work. And the next one, that now every small YMCA should afford, now every small YMCA can use features that only large YMCA could afford before. So back to our slide with a different YMCA sizes. So as I mentioned, large YMCA have separate digital team. They have big budgets, so they can develop the integration with third party, and small YMCA who has limited budget can use that feature for free back from the community. And right now we are kind of focusing on delivering digital experience to actual customers. We have pretty stable distribution. We have setup of features, but now we are going through the onboarding. So we should onboard more associations, more YMCAs. So for this, we are trying to achieve the OpenY installation without development effort. So every small YMCA should be able to install the distribution. For this, we have the in-place tours and documentation and the distribution. So for this, we are using tour module in Drupal 8. So you learn the website when you on the website itself. In comparison to old school way, when you open PDF on the left-hand side, when you open the site on the right-hand side, you just read documentation, go through the website, so that's not gonna work. With the in-place documentation, you just go through the pages and different like recommendations and learning materials appears on the website. Also, we're working on tutorials and video tutorials. This is something that we would like to focus on over the next few months. And again, as I mentioned, installation wizard in order to install the website in a few clicks. And the biggest part of onboarding, that's migration. And I'm pretty sure that this will drive our crazy, but without migration, we'll lose the big chunk of audience. So because we should have automated migrations from most popular CMS and systems that YMCA are using, because there is going to be like different plugins for migrate modules. So in a few clicks or through some wizard, they should be able to migrate to say, here is my website database. Here is OpenY instance. Let's go to OpenY instance and forget about all websites. So that should work in this way, and we are going to work on this. Maybe you will have some recommendations, maybe you've done something similar, so we are pretty open for the discussion here. So this is pretty much it. Whenever you have questions, reach me out. Here is my email, or visit OpenYMCA.org or GitHub. So what is going on with presentation? So we have OpenY Sprint Track tomorrow, and this is it. Thank you very much, and that's time for questions.
Thank you, Alexander. Nice speech. Just a short question. As a developer, it's not very clear for me. For example, if we have like OpenGov or something distribution, it's clear that we might use the distribution for like small government sites and so forth. You've done a good job. You have a lot of features. I can use your components that you develop, but how can I use like your complete installation profile? It's not quite clear for me. Could you please just give some explanation about this? Thanks.
So, do you mean how you can use the complete OpenY distribution for website that is different from YMCA, right? Yeah. Okay. So, yeah. Here is a guy who has blog powered on OpenY. This guy just walked into our door. Yeah, so he's using OpenY for his own blog because there are a lot of different features like media, landing page wizard, just the components that you can place on the page. So you can develop a few your own components, but you will have the framework how to build pages. And with that, you can just inherit the already existing theme, write a few changes to the theme, you will get your own website. So with the component-based architecture, you can just disable the whole list of components that are specific for YMCA, leave the distribution just with some generic and basic feature for yourself, and this will be a good starting point to move forward because you will have fully baked website for this with landing page wizard, with a few simple banners like galleries, blog post listing, and that's pretty common features for almost all websites. So based on this, just produce new components. Maybe you will have to change theme as well. But you will get the maintenance and bug fixes from the distribution itself. That's how you can use it, I think. Yep.
Thank you for interesting session, and I have one question. So you said that biggest problem and challenge for all distro are like make it modular and independent. So I saw that, as I understand, you are trying to use like less dependencies as possible, but I didn't notice, for example, any hook uninstall in your models. So would you like to give more details how you fix those like problems and how it's easy to like uninstall model without like crashing and then for example enabling it again?
Yeah. So. Yeah, the reason why we do not have uninstall because we do not need to uninstall features in the distribution. Let's say I would like to again create my blog based on OpenY. I install OpenY. By default, there will be installed a lot of different components that are specific for YMCAs. So I have to go to the Drupal user interface and uncheck those modules. However, I can write on hook uninstall in order to uninstall the module. But I think the question was why we do not have an install because we should clean up something from the system, right? So in this case, I think the configuration will be in the database. However, that's the good point that we should think on. So whenever you uninstall module, we should clean up all the crap that we have in the system. But another story, we're trying to put everything in the isolated environment by using technique that we have some generic modules that are called entity type, block, media, mapping entities, some custom entities. Then inside we create a big list of submodules that are bundles of this main entity. And we just specify that this entity depends on some other small. So we will have just a list of straightforward dependencies. We do not put everything into one feature that's called user, because user related to all other components like content types, access, permissions, and etc. So we are trying to isolate everything. But that's a good point in regards to the uninstall hooks. Thank you.
Есть время еще для одного вопроса, я думаю, если они есть.
Question for one.
Question?
Oh,
One question, maybe?
Yeah, one slot for one question. Let's get the final question and finalize this session. Alex.
Yes, so you mentioned that cool feature that Igor will be presenting, and is it used mostly for those external developers like YMCA Long Island, or this is used by OpenY team as well?
So from previous week, Igor made a release of this module. So that's the contrib module. And it could be used in any projects. And the main idea of this project to delegate the upgrade path work to development team as well. So without this module, whenever someone will have whenever someone will have issue on the website, they will blame OpenY team. They will say, you do not provide the upgrade path, so your product sucks. With this, we just say that, hey man, you've just changed this configuration, and it means that you no longer want to get the updates from the OpenY. We put this message on the dashboard, so it's his choice. Should he pull changes from the OpenY, merge with his changes, or just leave it as is because that's their requirement. So with this, we just say that here is a tool that will allow you to catch all conflicts with the main OpenY upgrades.
So this is only catcher, not helper to merge them every time?
Well, Igor, I will just reveal a few information that Igor is going to create roadmap for this module, and there is going to be tool when in user interface you can say, and you can even merge. There will be form pop-up where you can just take a look at the config, maybe change something, say commit, and it will push that into database. So you will have this in the Drupal user interface.
Well,
All right, thank you very much.
Thank you, Alexander. This certificate.
Certificate, so sweet.